Welcome. I'm so excited that you're here to join us for Cruise Convos. So what is Cruise Convos? Cruise Convos is going to be a series of conversations, but very important, it's going to be casual conversations with cruise industry leaders across the globe. As the founder of LEMONEIGHT, I want to welcome you to this experience. I really hope you enjoy and also have a little bit of fun. Thanks for tuning in, and remember, you're the zest. I am so excited to have you guys here. Welcome to this LEMONEIGHT experience. We're going to be talking today with 5 amazing people who have worked on ships on the ShoreX department, in the ShoreX department. Yay! I'm so excited to have
the best department on board any ship.
Woo, woo! I love it. We're going to be talking about fan tours, and we have Karen, Yily, Francis, and William and Lena. These guys are some of my favorite ShoreX people ever. Amazing leaders, and it's an honor to have you here. I'm going to start off with, awesome.
Thank you.
Karen, I'm going to start off with you. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Share with the network here.
Hey, well, my name is Karen. I live in Argentina. I've been on ships for 6 years now. I do have a tourism degree, and that's like since day one. I really wanted to go into ships. It wasn't that easy though. But once I went in, it was like, there was no doubt about it. I just love ShoreX, and I think we kind of have the best time on board as well. Like, kind of love it.
Awesome. Lena, you're next.
Yeah, my name is Linna. I worked in the travel industry for the last 10 years now, and the last two and a half years I've been on ships. My passion in life is to travel, and then after being at home for a while, during my 20s, I figured out that why not go on ships and travel for free and see the world while I do something that is really great for other people also, because it's not only for me, but you get to get the experience of sailing more, and you get to bring people to some amazing places that they otherwise wouldn't have gone to. So that's a good thing for me.
Awesome. Well, you're next on my screen.
May, why don't we do ladies first?
Okay, all right.
That's what I was about to say.
Yily,
I guess that's my turn then.
Go ahead, Yily.
Okay, I'm all the way from Colombia. I've been working on ship for 11 years, and I had the pleasure to be part of the ShoreX team since 8 years ago, and I became a manager 4 years ago. It's been an amazing experience, every single position I have had in this career. But it is what I have, or what I appreciate the most with the position I have now is the ability to lead and to learn from my team. Experience where you share your knowledge, and you also get new fresh ideas and more knowledge. So that has been great also for all these 4 years. Yeah, definitely same as Karen. I think we have a very good, team when it comes to work, say, compared to the other positions. But I will say that we work hard. People sometimes don't believe it, but we also enjoy a lot. So that's perhaps the compare, or if you want to put the things on balance, that as we'll say is we work hard, but we also enjoy as well a lot. And I think that's basically a little bit of me for the moment.
Thank you, Yily. We'll go with Francis next. We'll leave William for last.
Really?
Okay.
Why?
We'll go with Francis. Francis, tell us about yourself.
Well, let's start with me being on ships for 5 years now. 4 years being ShoreX, inshore excursions, and then the other year was like on a smaller vessel. But that one was actually my favorite one because it brought me everywhere. Just for 8 months, I've been to Asia, Mediterranean, Scandinavia, UK, and then the Caribbean. I'm only missing Australia, actually, and Alaska. Not for COVID. I've been to those places already, but well, thank you, COVID. But anyway, there's always a reason for all of these things. Why not? Maybe in the future, we will be back there. I was a teacher before I joined the ships. I was teaching physics and chemistry, and well, actually, I do not have much of a travel background, but I worked with Expedia before for a year. So, it's like visualizing places, going to those places, and then when I went to Shorex, it all came to reality. So it's a dream come true for me.
I love it. Thank you so much, Francis. William, you're last.
Welcome.
I'm
Welcome.
last. Thank you very much for inviting me. I am very happy to be here because, well, Claudine told me yesterday that you were all having like an online gathering, and she invited me, and thank you for that. I haven't met any of you personally other than Karen. I know Karen. I met her in Bar Harbor several years ago. Yes. And yes, so you're the only person with Claudine, of course, that I have personally met. And thank you very much, Claudine, for inviting us. I think these spaces are very important for us, to brush up on things that we might have forgotten. And is super, super great to see that everybody's doing good. Well, I've been working on ships since 2012, but in the the travel industry, I've been working since 2009 approximately, because I started from high school. So high school up to college, being in Colombia, because I'm from Colombia as well. So Yily is my paisana.
Paisana. Que viva Colombia.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, so I am proudly Colombian, and I worked in several travel agencies in Colombia as well, and the National Police Museum too, giving tours around the city. I am a professional tour guide as well in Colombia. I do not work my profession, since I've been on board, but after leaving Colombia and the travel industry in Colombia, I went on to become a pool attendant on board in 2012, because that's all the agency was offering at the time. So I was like, well, I have never worked in a kitchen. I don't know anything about cuisine. I don't know anything about bar. So pool attendant was like the other option that I could easily apply, because you didn't really need any experience to do a pool attendant's job, right? So it's like, okay, I'll take it. And then while being on board as a pool attendant, I did apply as a shore excursion staff, and I have been a very happy shore ex staff since 2013. So that's 6 years almost of being shore ex staff and 7 on board. And I've been to wonderful places, met wonderful people, and yes, I think that, like Yily said, people on board, other crew members think that shore ex just have fun and go to the beach or go dog sledding in Alaska or whatnot, but we also have to work to work around some time. We have to work under the sunshine, the rain, the cold, so, but it's fantastic. So I'm really looking forward to going back on board very soon, hopefully.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And Lena, tell us where you're from. Where are you?
I am from Oslo in Norway.
Yes.
So right now it's winter wonderland outside my window.
Nice.
Oh,
And
wonderful.
Francis, where are you located right now?
I am right now in the Philippines, opposite of Linna. Actually, we do not have snow. We do not have anything but heat. Even during this time, it's hot. So, I have my electric fan open and my aircon open. Everything is open. Still, it's hot.
Awesome. So thank you so much, guys. You guys are amazing leaders. Again, I love saying that. I've personally been on fam tours with each one of you in my previous job. I enjoyed it so much. And fam tours is key to connecting the destination. And you guys are key people to connecting the destination and the passengers, the people on board, to the destination. Now, I want to ask you some questions. First question is going to be, why are fam tours important? Let's think about a year ahead when, COVID, things might be cleared up. Fam tours are a go. You can do a fam tour. First, what is a fam tour? Francis, give us a definition. Seeing that you are a teacher.
Well, let's start with the physics and chemistry of it. Is that
Okay.
it?
Yes,
No.
please.
No, what I was saying is, fam trip is definitely like an excursion catered for all the shore excursion staff, for them to know exactly what the tours are to be offered into those places. Because for us, it's always like, a mystery for us to sell one place that we have never been. So for us, we will just do research. We will just be looking at it on pictures, on histories. But it is different when you go into those places, being introduced by a local. You will feel it. So when you speak to the people, when you speak to the guests, they will feel it from you that you are selling the places because you've been there. You are sharing a first-hand experience. You don't have to lie. You just have to say the truth. Even if it's good or bad, they will like it. You will tell them like, oh, there's a lot of vendors over there, but they would love it because you're telling the truth. So for me, fam trip is really important for everybody, especially for shore excursion staff. Well, some people don't like fam trips because it's too boring. Sometimes it depends on who is the facilitator, because it tends to be too long. But you know what? That is the most important thing. That's one thing I've missed, because I should be going to Alaska for 1 week. However, because of, again, this thing, you see where I'm rooting from. I should be going to Alaska for 7 days for me to know exactly what these tours are, for us to be able to sell it to all of our guests. But yeah, basically that's the reason why we do fam trips. And that's the definition, basically.
Love it. Love it. Yily, you've been in this for many years as well. What are your thoughts?
No, definitely I will say that familiarization trips are key when we are doing the process of selling and making the guests excited about the product they are about to buy. We found many, guests like many types of activities, yeah. And the good thing is that we have a very big variety, a range of excursions that we can offer to our guests. So that's why fam trips are key, are very important, because that's the way that we can transmit them the experience, not just what it brings, what is entitled of the excursion that they are purchasing, is where they're gonna experience. And when we have the chance to experience ourselves the excursions that we are selling, we are not only able to share with our guests by experience what is where they are going to live, make them excited about the trip from our own excitement when we are selling. Because usually when we know the product, you're more familiar, and said you feel more confident when you are selling it. And also, your body start telling them, your smile, your eyes. It's like you are transmitting all that acknowledge to them. Yeah. And I also believe that they are also important because in somehow we are also we do it to see in which way, if there is any, let's see, weakness in the service that we aim to provide. With the knowledge that we do have, we can provide that feedback to our operator and advising them, look, if we do this, I think we will do better, our numbers will increase. Also, fun trips are good for that. We should do fun trips for those good products that we have. We know that we have ports that there are excursions that in somehow they sell by themselves because of the port that we go in is well known for that. But we also have very good excursions that have been created, and they don't have as much as participations as others, But when we do the fun trips, we realize how amazing they are, how much culture they provide to or share to the person that is traveling. So that's why I believe that all the fun trips are amazing. I believe we should do fun trips as a team. So in that way we can see them and then we can share the experience that we live together. But I also love to send the staff or do it myself individually. So in that way we can experience exactly what the guests experience. When we do it as a group, perhaps we are able to get a little bit of more behind the scenes. And that's lovely to have all those facts that may, make more rich our conversation with the guests when we talk to them about the service we provide. But when we do it ourselves, that we do it as a guest, that give us a little bit more like the reality, what exactly it is, what exactly is doing. That's why, once again, functions are very important for the team, and also I believe also that also important for team members that doesn't really belong to Shorex, but they are key when they have a lot of conversations with the guests that they have, like for example the state room attendants and all those stuff that they are not part of Shorex, but we know that they share a lot of time with the customers and they tend to have small talks with them. So it's also important that we do invite those key persons also to our business, that at the end of the day we are selling services, experiences. So it's still a business, so it's also good to introduce to those familiarization trips to a different key people out of Shorex.
For sure. Now, you mentioned a good point. There is other key people on the ship that should, take part in these fam tours. William or anybody, who would be these other people? Who would you say are some key people on board?
Definitely the stateroom attendant is a person who has an everyday contact with a guest. The stateroom attendant sometimes is the person the guest asks for recommendations. So what port of call do we have tomorrow? So that the stateroom attendant will tell the guest whatever port we have, and then the guest would usually ask for advice to that key crew member. What should I do? Where should I go? Questions like that. Also, their waiter in the dining room is key as well. Every time before, right before the meal, the dinner, usually dinner is finished, the waiter will give a recommendation of the next port of call to the guest, and that is when this key crew member can provide with some insightful information to the guest regarding the excursions that the person can do in the port call, or sometimes independently. Of course, it's much better if the waiter or the stateroom attendant recommends a shore excursion, like an onboard shore excursion, to the guest rather than suggesting them to go by themselves. So I think that those are key crew members: stateroom attendant number one, and waiter as well.
Excellent.
Well, that's why we actually have an escort program on board. Also. Yeah, an escort program on board, and it's for those people. Yeah. Whoever is interested on doing tours, and that's what helps a lot. However, on the fun trips, I think the ones that we should get involved is guest services. Okay. Like guest services are the guys that are selling the tours for us. Like when we are closed or at any time, they are the ones that actually have, so it's super important for them to have the information. We sell expectations at the end of the day. It's not, so it's super important that we give the right information. If they go and buy a tour with guest service and give them the right information, then we are complicated. Those are the complaints that come back. And that's the same that happens with actually with the same fun trips. I mean, as Shorex going, I love going on tours, and anybody that knows me knows it. I'm a little bit of a pain about it, but on top of, I like going with the guests, as Yily said, but I also love the fun trips because they can give you like a flash of the whole, right?
Mm-hmm. Linna, say something.
Well, I'm definitely agreeing with the ladies and with William what he says, because it's, as a shore staff, there's only so much you can learn from pictures and from text. It's definitely the absolute best way to communicate to the guest what, maybe even if it's just while they come up and they ask, what do you think is a good tour? Then it's very different to having the experience of actually seeing the beach, seeing the museum, walking in the halls or whatever kind of mansion it is. Maybe it's very different to stand there and talk from the experience that you self have than to just say, well, I've heard that this is good. It's very different, and it's the same with the credibility that we have. I think it can be everything, like from, like, I remember on my last trip it was a lot of questions like, how does the beach look like? And then if you've never been there before, how are you going to explain it? So I think definitely you should never underestimate what is value in information for people, because people have every kind of question in the world. So to just at least have seen it with your own eyes, it's definitely 100% much better customer service and also a good selling point.
I love it. Now I'm going to flip this around. Let's talk about the tour operators. I know from talking to some Shorex staff and some tour operators, sometimes I think that they may struggle with inviting either the Shorex teams or inviting the key people who could be, I'd like to call them influencers on the ship, to get them to come to do your tour. What are some tips that you would think of right now off top of your head for tour operators? How can you establish that communication a little bit better, and how can they invite the right people or invite the Shorex teams to come on tours and to make it valuable too? Because I think that there's a misconnect on how the tours are being delivered, those fam tours. Anybody?
Well, it's a little bit of what I started saying in a way. Like, I think that it doesn't have to be a long tour. Like a lot of times, like one of the boys said, they take us for too long, and it's just a matter of getting the facts right and getting us to know the places and realizing that we don't really have much time in each port. So we also want to enjoy a little bit of our free time on top of it. So if it's something fun, fantastic, we're gonna have a great time all together. And it's always giving us value, like the most that they can get in those couple of hours is the best. And like even generic knowledge, like when you took us on the fun trip, like it's not only getting into the sea cave and knowing how it is, stopping by the bridge, and yes, this and that and that and that tour goes in there. But it's also like you did an extra stop we had a beer somewhere with some mousses. And you know what? I know we shouldn't drink, sorry guys, but it was, I don't even like beer, but still.
That's true.
It was actually a little extra. And when the guest comes, yes, we have to sell our tours, but we also need to bond with them and let them know what to do before or after. So that also added value to it, because we feel like we have more knowledge about the port itself. And we go to many ports. Like I've been on 10 ships pretty much all over the world. And man, sometimes it's not easy. Like you go to Rotan, like you were saying, it's like you have beach of different type. Like if they talk, yes, you have an amazing beach out here, but they're all different. So the most you can see is the better information the guest is gonna have. And it's the happier they're gonna be. Like at the end of the day, it's all about sharing and asking. Like a lot of times it's like, hey guys, do you have time for this? Do you wanna do more? Do you wanna stay here? It's a lot of getting the feedback from us. And it's not easy to get a Shorex team together to go on a fun trip. That is super important too. Somebody's on duty, manager or assistant has to stay on board. So there's always like, not easy to get people together and to get them to agree to go. So you have to be like, hey guys, it's gonna be 2 hours. We're gonna try to do this, this and that. Are you good with it? Yes, let's do it. Let's go as early as possible. Let's get all the guests out of the way, and let's, make it happen. And be flexible as well.
Love it.
When it comes to the tour operators, let's put it, if I put myself in tour operator shoes, I will say that well, we have so many destinations, so many tour operators. I will say that some of them, they already have cleared the picture why the fan tours are important. I also believe that in somehow, when a tour operator would like to offer a fan trip, cost in somehow are involved, yeah? And we know our side, we know how our operation runs, but sometimes we don't know how their operation runs, yeah? Or or which costs they can afford, or all those little things, those behind the scenes that we don't know yet, But it's good to them to know that at the end of the day, that little cost, let's say that, it will impact their sales in the future. Yeah, so it will be at the end rewarded. And also sometimes they need to think perhaps out of the box. Let's put this example, like if they have a bus and in the bus they have 5 chairs empty. At the end of the day, the bus, it will go under the tour and those 5 chairs will be empty. Yes, once again, the cost of perhaps depends of how the contracts are, that they have to pay a little bit more amount. But I think that's what I would like to say about thinking out of the box. That the tour operator, who is the one that is organizing the full service, talk to them and let them also understand what will be the benefits for that giving those 5 chairs, giving those 5 lunches, giving those 5 entrances, what it will represent in the future. Yeah. Right. So that's perhaps what I will say when it comes about the tour operators. And also when they know that someone is participating, sometimes it might happen that they think that we're sending someone just, to fill up a requirement that we need to do. No, they need every single time. It might happen that some crew members sign up for the scorebook just, because they just would like to go for a tour. But they need to look at it as an opportunity to also, like, okay, I know that this person is escorting or is making this familiarization trip. So let's take advantage of that and show them this, show them that, and then, now please share your experience with the ShoreX team on board. It's just taking every single opportunity that they have, that sometimes they may not believe how important it is, and sometimes they just have it right there. They just don't think a little bit out of the box. And I believe sometimes it's just more thinking in how much it will cost or what they will say. I always say that if we find things that are not so good, at the end of the day, that's not bad. That's the best, because we can in somehow make arrangements to change, to do something different, that once again, at the end, it will make a benefit for the future.
I love it. I love it. And
let me add something to
yes,
this one
please.
as well. Of course, because definitely for this farm trips, you said that about tour operators having difficulties inviting shore excursions. I just want to be honest, of course, regarding this kind of things, because there's a lot of shore excursion staff who doesn't want to go on the farm trip. As Karen said, because of long hours, because there's nothing to eat afterwards. I'd like to say that every time you have to consider we are from ships. We like to move every time. We like to talk every time. So let's start for the tour operators to have one very good tour guide, the one that interacts, the one that speaks to us, the one that would like to entertain us, the one that would like to inform us. Because without that person, we will not be listening. We will just be sleeping. Why? We've been to thousands of tours. We know when we look at the beach, we know how to describe it. But if that person, if that tour guide gives us a very interesting information, like how to sell it, like, you know, I know somebody, her name is, I'm saying she was like to give you like the interesting facts about that beach, about these places. It sometimes, you know, it's like a dull stone, but it makes it like a precious diamond, just because you share it, or you share it to us like a very precious one. You know, that's we will get the same feeling, we will get the same idea, we will get the same expression, how we will sell it or tell the guests. And of course, as Karen said also, after that tour, if it's a long one, if it's 3 hours, you would have to consider that these people can also get hungry, can also get
Mm.
thirsty. Try to let them eat something, to drink something. And then when you do that, it's not because you want to feed them and you want to get their, you know, their what do you call this, to be biased on the tour operations. No, you want to share them the culture of your country, not just to give them a food, but give
Come
them a
on, they
food
make
of
us
that
happy with
country.
a little bit of food, always.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly right. And then when you share that food, like that food specifically only for your region. So, like pudding, when you eat pudding in Canada, of course you've been to Canada, you have to eat pudding. Otherwise, it would not be an experience, right? It is not part of the tour, but because you've been there, you know, you can buy it from there, you can have it. It is also part of the time trip that you will share to the guests. And that way, you would also be able to invite these people, these shore excursions. I also would like to go on tours every time, but you know, I'm kind of serious sometimes, but I also have my funny side. But my I would say my shore excursions team, and also the other people from the other department, they don't want to go because of that reason.
Yeah.
Especially if you are from other departments like restaurants, housekeeping, they would say like, what kind of thing is this? I don't want to go on this one. It's boring. It's like too long.
Mm.
It has to be short. These people, remember, they are not selling. They are not like us who need to learn. They would like to enjoy as well. When
Mm.
they enjoy, they share it. When you're happy, you share it. When
Yeah.
you're mad, you share it. When you're angry, you share it. So you better choose which one these people would like to share to other guests.
I
Yeah,
love it,
that's one
Francis.
thing that, yeah,
Having the
that's
right
just,
person doing the fam tours is important.
It's important.
of course.
Very
Yeah.
important.
I believe that perhaps, listen to what Francis had said. Um, Perhaps we should think that doing farm trips is a teamwork. And when I'm saying teamwork, is that we both involve shortex and also tour operator. Perhaps in that way we can, do arrangements that it will benefit once again both of us, since we know our side, we know how things work in by, let's put it ship life, and the experience of the tour operator, not only with the product, but also knowing what are their, or those key tour guides or key places or all that thing. So perhaps working as a team, because at the end of the day, we're still a team, if we work together, then we will get more numbers and we'll get more people participating in tours. So
I love it.
work as a team.
Love it. And you're right. It comes from both sides. I'm going to ask you a question. If I said to you, name 3 things, the top 3 things that makes a perfect fam tour, what would your top 3 things be? William, we'll start with you.
Okay, well, definitely the place. The place has to be interesting. The place has to be appealing to whoever is visiting it. So I'd probably say my number 1 thing would be the place. Second, the tour guide. I'm gonna second the guys in that, and the person who is hosting the tour definitely plays a very, very important role in the experience. And number 3, place, tour guide, and well, it doesn't have to be food really.
You love food though.
Yeah, I do love food, but I know that, we also have to take into account those excursions that do not have any food, for example, so I wouldn't put food as that. And the company, definitely. The company will help, because if we all go as a group, let's say the shore excursions team of a specific ship, of any ship, go together in that excursion to that place with that one tour guide, we can all exchange points of view, when it comes to how to sell it, how to promote the excursion, what would be the highlights of that excursion. So I would definitely say that place, tour guide, and company.
Epic. Love it.
Yeah.
Lena, you're next. What are your top 3?
I think for me, it starts definitely with the tour guide, because it's a big, big difference between having a person like yourself that talks and jokes and can give more information than what. Because I've been on some fam trips where you have very strict tour guides that have, this is their profession, this is what they are saying on their tours, and that's it. But for me, it's very important, to have an actual conversation with somebody, to joke and to get more information that I would really get as a guest, maybe on the tour bus itself. Definitely number 1. For me, it would also be the perfect fam trip for me is the one that covers a lot of sightseeings. It's nice to go on one tour that is exactly the same as the tour that I'm selling, but then I could have just gone on the tour bus, so to cover a lot of different tours in one, maybe longer fam trip, definitely is better, because if I have seen 6 tours in a couple of hours, it's much, much better for me. Yes, I will take pictures, maybe I will write some information down, but I feel like I get more out of the fam trip. And then I was thinking about it, and I think maybe also the vehicle that you do the fam trip in has a lot to say. Because if you are on a huge bus, maybe you're only 7 people, let's say, on the fam trip, but you're on a huge bus, everybody's sitting way apart. You cannot have any communication back and forth with the tour guide. And it's more like you're all sitting in your own space. So to have a smaller vehicle, at tops a minibus, is definitely something for me. It has a lot to do, because if somebody falls in the back and they're sitting, maybe they put the music on, they're sleeping, it has a lot
Excuse
to say.
me?
Yeah, I'm looking at you, Francis.
That has never
That's
happened
why- that's why I
before.
said,
I don't know
excuse me?
what you're talking about.
So yeah, definitely. I think that's something that people has to consider too.
I
The
love it.
vehicle to do
100%
it.
agree with you, Lena.
Francis, go next.
No, that's well, I agree fully with Lena actually with that one. As I've said, the tour guide will make the big difference with this. The second one definitely is the vehicle, because as I said, I would like to have interaction. I would like to have questions. But if I have the chance to sit at the back, I will do so. Especially if it's a long one, I will do so. But if I have if the tour guide will see me every time and talk to me, I will not, and I will ask a lot of questions. You know that, right? So, and then of course the third one is the coverage of the fam trip. As Lena said, where are we going? Are we covering a lot of different excursions? Are we covering only one excursions? Because if it's only one tour, it doesn't make sense. I will just go in the bus. I'll do it with the guest. And so what? I mean, at least I would experience the entire thing, and I can share the full excursion to the guests. But it is very important that we maximize the time going on fam trips to see everything that you can see on that specific excursion, because that would speak a lot for what is the reason why you chose this over the regular excursion. It is really good to have fam trips because of that reason. You maximize everything. You maximize the time to see those places. But of course, it depends on which place or which port are you going to. Yeah, if you can cover it in one fam trip, that's perfect.
Epic.
Makes a lot of sense.
I love it. Yily, what are your top 3?
My top 3. I will say that through the positions of those top 3 changing somehow.
Yeah.
Being a manager and having quite a lot of things to do at the office. When I do fam trips now, I think first in time. That's key. Second, what the program will be. And third, what will be the goal that we're going to achieve with that fun trip? I will say I will choose those three, but also trying to make it as fun as possible. So because I know, and I've been staff, I know what it means. That is in somehow your free time. Sometimes I came up with fun trips with my tour operators, and I just advise my staff that we're going to the fun trip, but knowing that I being a staff, I know that we need to get the most of the time that we're spending, and knowing that all those little things that you have mentioned that I have also lived, they need to be there as much as they could. There are some fun things that will allow it, there are some others that don't. But I will say also, sometimes we need to do some fun trips that they are not that exciting, but I think that also important because, if I say that service or tourism there is become how potential on sales in that particular tour, that we have a target, they just, I would like to believe that our head office does that work is not only, okay, let's put here this, let's put, so I believe that when they have all these big data and statistics, or what's the type of guests that travel with us, all that data, that they create this particular tour, I will say there are some that they definitely don't look excited or sound excited, and they might not even be excited for us, yeah, but it might be for some particularly a range of guests. So that's why I believe that also those ones are important to participate on.
Love it. And Karen, what are your top three?
I think they pretty much said it all. I do agree with the tour guide. It's always good. And you know what a difference it makes, even with the guests. But for us especially, because the extra value we get from it is priceless, is what we need, is what gives value to what we are doing. And guys, I know you don't want to go into it, but we start working rather early. We go through a lot of guests going off the ship, getting onto the right tours. We do need a bite. Like I've been on fun trips driving an hour and a half. Man, have a drink in the van, like have a cooler box. That's very Mexican. They really spoil us in a way. We have to mention them. I don't know if you've been to Colombia or to Costa Maya, like they take care of us.
That's
like
true.
Nobody does. They got that part right. And at the end of the day, we have a lot of similar tours. So it's a matter of, when I'm talking to the guests, it's like, if I got plenty of information from your fun trip, I'm gonna pull for your tours. I don't have to, and I know that I signed that I'm not like, but at the end of the day, having the information is what we need, is getting to know the places. That's about as good as it gets. I've been on fun trips that they even show me where the other companies go, the other tour operators, and you know what? It's great, because the other tour operator might be smaller or might be, but I know, okay, the difference between that tour and that tour, it's this, and it makes a difference. And again, we go back to the tour guide. It does make a big difference. So I cannot really say three, but you got the point.
I love it. I love it. You made some great points. Take care of the Shorax peeps. They will take care of you. Whoop, whoop.
Very good.
And
See how it goes.
More than that, and since Karen mentioned it, for example, in Mexico, I think definitely the tour operators in Mexico, they know their business pretty good, very well. And yes, definitely they have the way that, let's spoil us, let's put it this way. But I would like to say that doing all those fun trips and knowing the sort of things that they can do, even though if they are doing it for us, it give us, or for example, in somehow give me the relax that I know that if something goes wrong, because unfortunately things go wrong sometimes, they have the capability to fix it right away at the spot. And that's what it makes also big difference when things goes wrong. Yeah. And when the guests, or when you not get to know, is when it's a big ball.
Yeah.
When there is perhaps, it was a little thing that could be fixed right away, and now it's a big drama, a big ball. Yeah. So those troopers also, when we experience that in our fan trips, given the confidence to know that I prefer to push into this one, is because I know that they're capable enough to cover in somehow everything, let's put it, or every situation that we might be.
Yeah,
That
they're gonna come back straight to
things are
you.
not-
And
Yeah, exactly. Mhm.
I love it. You guys are awesome. Really great points. I know we could keep talking about this, and we will in our next session. Thank you. But thank you so much to each one of you for taking part. I truly, you know, if I had a team, I would want each one of you on my team. That's how much I believe in you guys. You guys are amazing people, and
Thank you.
You're welcome. You guys are the people who make people want to go to the destinations, and you do it for the right reasons. You guys care. So thank you so much, guys. Mwah!
Thank
Care.
you.
Shout out to our
Care,
tour operators all
everyone.
around the world, and
bye.
especially
Anytime.
Mexico.
See you back on board.
Yeah, Mexico's just gonna love you guys. Mwah!
We love it.